not create the event in the Grand Risings room. So
Got
what that the result of which is that no one knew about it. I had it scheduled. I was planning, my Saturday around it, and yet there was no one that was able to join. But you know what I'm going to do? I think here
what's
is
that?
I think I'm going to put this on Facebook Live. Why not? Um, it may make it easier for people to, join and ask questions.
Yeah,
So,
most
what I'm going to
definitely.
do is I'm going to go ahead and put that live on Facebook.
Excellent, excellent. Get
Okay,
some
Grand
more viewers.
Rising Public, go live. Just like that, I guess. I don't.
Don't even say it, because you already know I know better.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
All right, so that is live on Facebook.
Yeah.
Um, and just I am recording now. So the truth of the matter is, you know, I produced this session so that publicly people can ask questions as it relates to the Ledge Group, the Grand Risings, all of that. And in my mind, so there's no question that's off base. Whatever comes to your mind, whatever relative to, I'm not here to answer for Donald Trump. What is that dude's name? There's this dude that everybody is talking about all of a sudden. Kevin something. I don't even know who these people are. And I'm grateful and better for it. I don't even know who these people are. I don't know what they said. I don't know what they did. And no matter what it is that they said or did, it doesn't change the skin on my moccasins, not one little bit, right? It don't change nothing. So it is better for me to not know who these people are. I am so comfortably ignorant of what everybody else is focused on. I'm comfortably ignorant. But again, just to kind of speak to the logic behind this session, and as I said, I apologize. What I did was I failed to create the event in the Grand Risings. And in doing so, nobody knew that the session was going to happen. I built them in perpetuity in Zoom. So the first Saturday of every month, I will produce a Q&A where again, it's not time for me to talk. It's more a time for me to answer any questions that anyone might have relative to the Grand Risings and the Ledge Group. I want to be very clear, however, and this is a thing that I wrestle with, right? This is a thing that I wrestle with. But I want to be clear. I'm not offering truly anything, right? The Ledge Group, the Grand Rising, we don't sell nothing. and and I don't want to be offensive in saying this, and this is why it's kind of a challenge for me. I don't want to be offensive, but it should be clear and known. We don't need anyone or anything, right? What we have built and you can attest, sister, what we have built and what we have done will continue. It's self-perpetuating. It will go forever. There's nothing that you could do. There's nothing that anyone could do that could stop what we have done, the Ledge Group, and its growth in perpetuity. Nothing. So I produced this Q&A simply because I know that there are questions, right? I know that a lot of people see every day you see me speak about one thing: liberation, freedom, right? You hear me speak about 1,000 generations into the future and producing the essential needs in order to be able to accommodate our progeny into the future, that they do not have to bend and bow at somebody else's table for rotten crumbs, right? This is all I speak about. This is all I do, right? So that being said, I know that people see the things that I share in the content and have questions, right? Um, Relative to kind of what we do, how we do, why we do, and just general visibility, right? General visibility into the work that we do. How does it happen? And I've often said, my hands are open, right? If there is something that I have, I opened up and I said the Ledge Group doesn't sell nothing, right? The Grand Risings doesn't sell anything, right? We're not selling nothing. Um, if there is ever anything that I have that I know or that I can do that any of my people need, my hands are open. Ask and you will receive. I will give it to you. So even the model that we have used is openly available, readily available to anyone to take and utilize to duplicate or replicate what it is that we've done. And you will know the same success in the end. It's basically foolproof, right? It's basically foolproof. It will work. It is self-perpetuating. What is it that I'm speaking of that's self-perpetuating? Fairness, that's all. Fairness and transparency, that is what is self-perpetuating. So if I can go to an Africa, in Angola, who has historically been exploited by the Dutch and by the De Beers, and has not been given a share of his resource. If I can go to that man and say, yo, okay, I see how they've been doing you. How about we split 50-50? The profits, everything across the board. How about we split 50-50 and you put those diamonds, instead of putting them in his hand, put them into the hands of the people in the diaspora, and let's flip the tables, right? Each and every single people anywhere on the planet Earth that has any resource, if you approach them in this way, Elijah Muhammad said it, if the only glass of water that is available to a man is a dirty glass of water, he must live and he will drink that. But if you put an option before that man and you provide a clean glass of water versus a dirty glass of water, he will naturally choose the clean one. So I don't have to sell anything. I'm not selling anything, right? The Ledge Group isn't selling anything. We're going and having conversations with our own people. And we're saying, yo, I see how they're doing you. You know, I see how the Swiss are doing you for your chocolate, Ghana. I see how the Chinese are polluting your lands and your waterways for your gold, Ghana. I see how they're doing you in Angola for your diamonds. I see how they're doing you in Nigeria for your oil. I see how they're doing all over the planet Earth and exploiting the people. We know how it has been done, right? And if this is true, if we can, without any ambiguity, point to how the Portuguese came into being a superpower, right? If I can point to and highlight and speak to specifically how the UK became a superpower, how did the US become a superpower, how is Israel as powerful as they are, how did China do it, how did these countries get to the place where they are? And what is consistent through them all is the exploitation of the resources of the people. So guess what? In Central America, those people suffer under the exact same exploitative processes that have been used in Africa. So if I show up to the people in Central America and I say, I see that they're sucking your blood, man, on your resources. If I show up in Venezuela, I see how they're doing you because you got oil and energy. I see how they put sanctions on you so that you can't be you can't recognize your full potential. I can see this. Yeah. So what happens if I go and speak to that man in Central America and we sit down at the table and we design a model whereby they can benefit from their resource at a greater level than they ever have before by putting their resource in the hands of Black people throughout the diaspora. See, we bigger than Amazon, right? We bigger than any Amazon, right? We are found all over the planet. We are found everywhere on this planet. We are bigger than Amazon. So what would happen? What would happen if I can convince that brother in Angola that has a diamond mine whose generations have been exploited for that resource? What should happen if I can sit down with that man and I can say, look, the brothers and sisters in the UK, the brothers and sisters in Barbados and in the Caribbean and in Central America and South America, let them be the vendors for your diamonds. Let us set up businesses where we have our jewelers producing our own jewelry using diamonds. Let's put those resources instead of in the exploiter's hands where we know the way that it's going to come out. Instead of giving it to that exploiter, put it into the hands of your brothers and sisters in the diaspora, and let's lift each other. All boats rise with the tide, right? So why could we not have these conversations globally, everywhere where we see the colonizer exploiting people? Why wouldn't we? Why would we sit back and not do anything and wait for crumbs to fall from somebody else's table in order for us to exist into tomorrow? Why? Why would we do that? So the logic and everything that the Ledge Group has done has been predicated upon that very basic understanding. We have the ability to do things in areas of the world that we can never do in America. I posted recently a few inquiries. One of those inquiries were, can you build a hospital where you are right now? Where you live today? Can you build a hospital? Given the resource, given the wherewithal, where you are, could you build a hospital? No, not without super enriching white supremacy. Could you build an airport? Could you build an airstrip for yourself and have commercial planes? Could you build that? Like, if you had the resource, huh? Oprah Winfrey, can she build an airport in America? Why? Well, that's because all of the airports are owned. It's regulated. You can't do anything without their sanction. If they do not say yes, then you cannot do it. Guess what? I could build an airport tomorrow if I chose to. Anywhere else on the planet Earth. Anywhere else on the planet Earth. If I chose to build a hospital, I could build that. So the question in my mind is, if this is true, what exactly keeps us from doing that? What exactly is the downside associated with doing exactly that? If it's impossible for me to build a hospital here in America, no matter how much money I have, right? If it's impossible for me to build an airport in America, no matter how much money I have, and yet I could go into Central America and do it like this. I could go into Africa and do it just like that. I could go almost anywhere else on the planet Earth and I'm free to do that. But I can't do it here because it is regulated, it's put in place, and they own the machine, right? So my only option is either to simply sit under those imposed limitations that say I can't open a hospital, that I can't open an airport. You know, let me tell you something. You know what it is? You know what America is? America is a susu where you never get the payoff. America is a susu where you never get that large payoff. That large payoff stays with America. And she allows you a couple of crumbs here or there. She allows you temporary comfort. She allows you life. Huh? She allows you life. So how long do we sit under that? How long do we sit below these artificially imposed limits before we think to ourselves, wait a minute, I could do something different. I could do something different. I know it takes an awful lot of courage to live without a safety net. I know that a future that is uncertain can produce an awful lot of anxiety. I know that. But here we have a future that is very certain. I am certain that my children will be dehumanized by way of this system. I am certain to have to put in more effort than anyone else in the society simply to live my life. I am certain to put greater stress on my mind and on my spirit based on the abhorrent scenario that I live in, right? I am certain to die in a way that is unnatural based on where it is that I am. So there is the uncertainty, which says I can build. There is no safety net. There are no guarantees. Yes, I can build a hospital and I can make a go of it. Yes, I can build that airport and I can make a go of it. I can build that resort. I can build those different things. And guess what? There is nothing to say that this will be assured success. There is no guarantee, but guess what? Do you think there was a guarantee for Europeans when they came into America? Did they have a guarantee that what they were doing would succeed? No, they didn't. But they did it. Why did they do it? Because the condition that they had lived in was not acceptable to them. So they did whatever they had to do. They sacrificed whatever they had. When they came to this land as poor, tired, huddled masses of people, they came through great challenge. They came through great challenge. There was no guarantee that they would make the journey. There was the possibility that the members of their families would die on the journey on the way to America. There was no guarantee for them, and yet they did it. Why did they do it? They did it because the condition that they were living in was so deplorable that even death would be better. And so they found the courage and they left their lands. So when I say we can build a hospital, but there is no safety net, when I say we can build an airport, but there is no safety net, there is no assurance that this will succeed, right? If fear prevents you from even trying, then you will always be a servant. You will always be a servant. There must come a time where we determine that we must muster the courage to be able to do things without a safety net, right? The safety net offers us no safety. It ensures that our children's organs are valuable within this context. It assures that, so we live in a condition where it's basically welfare. See, somebody on welfare, you can't have X amount of money in your bank, right? You're going to live 3/5 of a life, because we're subsidizing you, right? So they hold you at a certain place. Well, this is what America does. Again, if you can't build a hospital anywhere you want because you have the money, why can't you? If you can't build an airport in America anywhere you want to because you have the money, why can't you? It's because they own the airports, that it's because they put the system in place. It's because they sanction or determine what can or cannot happen. So no matter how much money you have, you can't open an airport. I can open a freaking airport tomorrow. Tomorrow, anywhere else on the planet Earth. So what would prevent me from trying? What kind of a hold must someone have on me before I would say, yo, you know what? I could do my own. I could, instead of living under I don't like the limits that you have put on me. So my options are not to fight you, to give me more. I'm not going to do that. How foolish is that? No, the option is to build my own and remove all limits, right? So we're, as humans, we like structure, right? We like structure. And we like processes well defined so that we can see and say very clearly, this is the thing, that is a thing, right? We like that safety net that structure provides. But the cost of that is your children and your children's children's existences into perpetuity. The cost of the convenience of the structure in place by colonizers has a dramatic cost, and that cost is our progeny into perpetuity. Again, every day you hear me say the same things. I'm like a broken record. I'm repeating what you heard Malcolm say. I'm repeating the logic of Elijah Muhammad. I'm repeating the logic of Marcus Garvey. I'm distilling those words, that direction, into an actionable process, right? That's all I do, you know? And so, again, I encourage anybody, come closer, come closer. Understand how the Ledge Group works, why the Ledge Group works, what it is that we go, when I sit down with somebody anywhere in the planet Earth, what is it that I say to them that makes them say, yo, yeah, we'll put them resources in your hands, right? We'll put those diamonds in your hands. We'll put that gold in your hands. We'll put that oil in your hands. What is it that I'm saying to these leaders and these people all over the planet Earth that will make them say, yo, yeah, that's a good idea. We can do that, right? And through that process, we have the ability to shut down the faucet of resources to every exploitive nation in the world. Please understand, you standing around buying stock in Elon Musk and Bill Gates, but guess what? Elon Musk and Bill Gates, they are active in mining efforts in the Congo in order to be able to get the coltan that allows them to produce the products, right? So if you were to see a diagram relative to the products that you buy, the stock that you buy, and the corporations of the world, if you were to see a diagram that went to their base needs, you would see that each and every single one of them end up in Africa. Every single one. Whether it be oil, whether it be wood, whether it be, every single, right? Every single country, company, and corporation. Elon Musk, doesn't matter. I don't care who it is. We can drill down from their product to Africa. So if that is the case, why wouldn't we shut off? If we could, why wouldn't we shut off the faucet of resources and force them to renegotiate producing parity? See, right now they're exploiting the people. They're exploiting them in Nigeria. And why is that happening? It's because they've got corrupt government officials that will take a payoff, enrich themselves, and then leave the people in squalor and give the outsider access to what they want. You've got officials and you've got governments in place where they're able to compromise individuals quite easily to gain access to those resources. And through that, they process those resources, spin them around, turn them into a business, and they sell them back to the poor people of the earth. And they continue in this manner year after year, generation after generation. And we stand here watching this. We stand watching this. If we have the capacity, I don't care if you don't want to go to Africa. Don't go to Africa. Donald Trump said his friends are making millions. Do you know why they're making millions in Africa? Again, every company, every country, trace their products, trace what it is they make, And you will find every resource that they use to produce their solvency finds its root in Africa. And it finds its root in exploitation. The reason that they are as wealthy as they are is because they're paying nothing. They're giving those owners of the resource nothing. And then they're taking that, so they're paying for the logistics to move it out. They're paying for the logistics to move it out. They're paying for the processing, but the raw product was free, basically. And they're doing this, and they have done this. Portugal started her journey into superpowerdom by stealing 700 tons of raw gold from Angola. This is what started Portugal, right? So I can trace, and we can trace without any ambiguity, every country's power to a stolen and exploited resource in Africa. And so we stand here. I'm not going back to Africa. I just like it on my knees. You ain't got to go back to Africa. But if we could produce a model whereby we can take the diamonds and divert them from the De Beers, and we can place them into the hands of the Africans in the diaspora, and the only people you can buy diamonds from is Black people, what part of that sucks? What part of that doesn't work for you in America that doesn't want to go? What part of shutting off the faucet to the colonizers who currently control every element of your life, diverting the resource that they have used to exploit into your own hands, and us being the primary vendor? What part of that sucks? What part of that sucks, right? And furthermore, what the hell is the other option? What the hell is the other plan? Is the plan to get an education and hope that tomorrow, when you wake up and get your books and prepare to go get your education, that Massa just continues to filter your water? He's just going to always be there, right? He's going to provide your food. His supply chains will always be there. He's infallible, right? He is absolutely infallible. White people are completely supreme. So I don't have to think about the supply chains which bring my food. When I flush the toilet and my waste goes away, I never have to consider what happens to that. Where is it going? How is it processed? Who does that? I never have to consider. It's like magic. When I open up the fridge and when I close it, the light goes off. Magic. I am so comfortable that I never even consider how these things happen. So my plan is I'm going to go get an education. And then with that education, I'm going to what? Overthrow white supremacy. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Right? So again, we're comfortable in these ambiguous threads and an ambiguous life that says this is the goal, but never does the goal culminate in, and then I will be free, right? Never does the goal culminate. The goal is money. The goal is the education. The goal is to get into political office, but never does it culminate in, and then we will be free. And then my children will never beg at another man's table again. How much money do you need before you no longer have to pay bills? How much? Anyone? If you got $1 billion, do you have to stop paying taxes then? How much money do you need before white folks say, all right, you've paid enough? How much? When does that day come? Does it come in your children's lifetime? In their children's life? When are they happy with how much they have extracted from you? When? When? When you die, you will pay them for the right to die. When will you stop paying them? And so why would we acquiesce to this being normal? Why? Is that man supreme? Is he? Is what they do God determined? Is it the best for humanity? This abhorrent and wicked system, is that true? And if it is not true, then why is every plan that we have predicated upon them being there, as if they were gods, as if they were infallible? Why? Why? Look, what I give you is the logic behind why the Ledge Group was built, What I give you is the formula that allows the Ledge Group to grow into perpetuity. I give it to you freely. Okay. I give it to you freely. What I suggest is we have produced reputation and capacity to do exactly what I've just described. We're in conversations as we speak in Angola. I have dispatched my executive director in Tanzania to Angola. He'll be leaving to Angola in 20 days. We are in conversation with mine owners in Angola. And guess what? You think, so I'm too old. It's a blessing. It's a blessing, right? Because at this point, my age causes me to not remember everything. So it's a good thing that I've come to this point in my life where I don't lie, because I'd never be able to remember what the hell I said, and I'd never keep it up, right? So it's a wonderful metamorphosis, to mature. It's a great blessing. But so again, what do you think my conversation is with the diamond mine owner in Angola? Knowing what I know, see the real benefit associated with us having endured what we have, whether that be in the UK, whether that be in America, whether that be in the Caribbean, what we have endured and what we have seen gives us insight. And I've explained how they do this, how they've exploited the native peoples all over the planet Earth. It gives us that insight. We can see it. I know why they're coming to America. They're coming to America because they're following their fortunes, because you went over there and exploited those people, made them export their food such that even when they were growing the food, their people were starving because the food was being exploited to America because you imposed a tariff on them. So as they grew the food, they were in debt to the company store, and they could no longer eat the food that they produced in Costa Rica, in Nicaragua. I can see this all over the planet Earth. We watched it happen. So we know how they exploit those people. So I don't have to go in guessing. When I speak to that man that owns the mine in Angola, I'm going to be able to explain very clearly how he's being done without him even saying a word. And when I'm done and I suggest a better model that enriches him and his people forever, I guarantee you that man will accept my proposition, right? Because we're not going in like weakened, excuse making, begging, whining people. We're going in with solutions and the intelligence. When I say intelligence, I'm using the word like they used in their letter. They call themselves the Central Intelligence Agency. I'm not talking about a smart man. I'm talking about the intel. You have seen what they do. You have seen how they have done it. You have seen the exploitive nature of their movements. The same thing that they did here in America, they did in Palestine. You have seen it. So right now, what happens is we suffer with this knowledge that has been heretofore useless to us. It has been useless. But if we use intelligence, it becomes highly useful, because now in those places where they have intentionally underdeveloped those people, we can go and whisper in their ear. We're sitting here watching this bullshit. We're sitting here watching this. They went and destroyed our movements using COINTELPRO with some devil that came and whispered in a weak man's ear and created a ripple that destroyed our movements. Why can't we go whisper in our brother's ear and bring nutrition to them? Why can't we go and suggest something of nutrition that has the capacity to lift both people at one time? Why can't we do that? Why can't we visit them in Costa Rica? Why can't we visit them in Nicaragua? Why can't we visit them in Haiti? Why can't we visit them in the Bahamas and in the Caribbean and in Africa and create a model whereby we can enrich both people at the same time? Why can't we do that? And in fact, the question goes even further, because there is no can't. The real question is, why haven't we? Are you comfortable in your condition where your children's organs have a price tag on them? Are you comfortable in your condition where every 7 days there's another 7 Black people murdered by these race cops? Are you comfortable in your subservient position on your knees, begging for crusts of bread and hoping to be a white man one day? Are you comfortable in this condition? And if you are not, then what are you doing to change that? Education will not do it. Political representation and literacy will not do it. All of the money in the world will not do it. Name one. Name one. Here's a challenge. Name one wealthy Black person who has either died in a natural manner with their money and with their wealth. And, you know, Madam C.J. Walker's house was sold a couple of years ago, and the person that sold the house was not named Walker. Name one wealthy Black person that you could call free. Who has attained freedom? Oprah ain't. She don't want to be free. Oprah's a part of the machine. Everybody that you see is a part of the machine, right? They don't want to be free. They want to be comfortable right now, right? Name one. Name one who's gotten out and been free. I'll tell you one of the ones that comes to mind. And again, it requires some analysis to understand it. But one that comes to mind is Akon. Akon. He's used this stuff right. He has used it right. Jay-Z is not. Jay-Z is a part of the machine, young sister. Jay-Z is comfortable. He's doing the charitable things, and he's making white supremacy stronger through every purchase and every dollar he earns. White supremacy gets stronger. They love Jay-Z. You understand? Jay-Z don't want to be free. He's a part of the machine, right? Now, Oprah doesn't want to be free. She's a part of the machine. Your D.L. Hughley's, all of these people, all of your heroes in America, if you don't see them actively leaving, if you don't see them leaving, then what they're doing is they've been made comfortable. They've bought into a value system that is not their own, and they're selling that value system to you. So they're comfortable. See, let me tell you, I'll give you a perfect example, sister. I'll give you a perfect example. I could make $1 billion, and guess what? If I do, they're going to invite me into their little exclusive clubs. I'm going to go to places that you don't go, right? I'm going to be able to do things and buy things that you can't. But guess what just happened? I made the enemy stronger, and every one of you that doesn't have $1 billion are going to feel it. You're going to feel it. So we glorify these minstrels and we think they're doing something, but guess what? The only thing that they're doing is they're making steel traps stronger around your babies' necks. No, Jay-Z ain't free. No, Oprah ain't free. She don't want to be. None of these people are free. You want to know free? Akon. You want to know free? Dave Chappelle. None of these people are free, and they don't want to be. They want to be more comfortable under white supremacy. Okay? So again, there's not real, the things that I'm saying to you are not my opinion. These, lay the cards on the table. We find that these are facts. Could Oprah Winfrey be free? Absolutely. She could go to Costa Rica, buy land where she never has to pay taxes on it again. She would have mineral rights to the center of the earth and to the top of the sky. She could build one time, never pay taxes to white supremacy ever again. She could farm her own food, dig her own wells, produce her own power through solar or wind or water. She could live as a free human being. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to. She enjoys the conveniences that are provided by a slave master in America. So she stays here and she gains more wealth. And she enjoys the parties and she enjoys going to those clubs and being invited and rubbing elbows with the rich and famous. She enjoys that. She has been co-opted. Understand thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Understand these. Understand these and how they apply. She might have begun thinking about, like I said it in a post, Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas used to walk on his college campus in Black Panthers gear. Clarence Thomas used to walk through his college campus in Black Panther's gear. He started out wanting to do something that was righteous. He started out with a righteous fire, but then he became a part of exactly what he was trying to fight: synthesis. This is how it works. So no, Jay-Z is not free. No, nobody that you see, they're doing commercials. You know what they're doing with the commercials? Let me first of all understand. All media means they're lying, right? Anyone that you see in the movie is lying. They're playing a role. It's an image that they're selling to you. They're not actually doing the things that you see in the movie. It's all acting. It's a lie. So what you see in the media as well is a lie. It's a facade. It's to comfort you. It's to keep you in the place where you are. It is a lie. They are professional liars. Ronald Reagan was an actor before he was a governor. They're professional liars. And what they're doing is they are telling your vision what to believe. And so they are the Oprahs, the Jay-Z's. These wealthy people are worse than the enemy. They are worse because they could be free and they choose not to. Kimani, my brother, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Oh, my bad.
Where you
I
at?
thought
You
my
in
microphone
Zanzibar,
was
ain't you?
no, I'm back in Arusha now.
You in Arusha? Where? At our resort?
Yeah, I came to do some social distancing. Yeah, I'm actually I'm planning to go to Ghana on the 20th. I have to retrieve some of my things that I left there last time I was before the borders reopened in September.
Yeah.
I left some stuff there. I thought I was gonna go back there straight, but plans change.
It's a funny thing, man. When you get onto the African continent, it's a funny thing how, like, man, I got clothes over here, I got things over there, like all through the continent, man. My stuff is everywhere, man. It's amazing. But you know why?
It's crazy.
And you're going to be able to attest to this. You know why? Because the whole damn thing is home. You know what I mean? I can leave clothes in Kenya. I can leave stuff in you. Man, my stuff is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's home, man. It's like my end table, baby.
Right. I feel that 100%.
Yeah, man. Well, send me some images of Arusha, man. I haven't seen it in a while. You know what I mean? You been to the have you been to the hot springs?
Oh,
you've been to the hot springs?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So again, what happens is I get up in here and get to talking and all like that. And that's not what this is for, right? Everything that I could say to you today, I have said before, right? The real goal or reason why this session is put together is for those to ask questions. Who are we, right? What is the Ledge Group? How do we do it? Like, come here and take what you can. This is an open hand session. I'm here to give you the formula that produced the capacity that you see and allows us to do the things that you see us do all over the planet Earth. So this is not a forum designed for me to just be talking at you. I'm not, ain't nothing that's going to come out of my potato cruncher going to be, I ain't no soothsayer, right? So it's really time for the people to ask questions. That's what this forum is for. So any question, nothing is off base. Ask questions about the Ledge Group, the Grand Risings, anything. What about the membership? What do you get for the membership? Should I just go through some of this stuff kind of randomly? Or does anyone have questions? So I am watching the chat on Facebook, and I am watching the chat in the Zoom room. So you have any questions at all, feel free, right? Like I said, nothing's off base. And even if it's an uncomfortable, man, look, I'm too old to be shuffling and backstepping and lying and all the rest of that bullshit. I'm too old for that, man. I don't care how uncomfortable it is. We go through it. You hear me? We talk through it, right? And that's how we get to the next level, okay? Membership for the Ledge Group. Membership is for a family. So for families, membership is diminished to $750 per adult. Okay. So by default, membership is $1,000. For a single person, $1,000. Okay. For a family, the husband, wife, $750 each of them. For each child under 18 years old, membership is $250. Okay. Why? Why is there a membership fee? Because the amount that is spent in the fee goes to feed our farmers and their families in different areas of the organization. It goes to opening up new businesses in the area. It goes to augmenting the various projects that we have. Basically, every single person that joins the Ledge Group as a member is basically picking up a brick and putting it into the wall of their own liberation, right? This is why even children pay a membership fee. Nothing is going to be given you. Nothing is going to be granted you. You must reach for it. You must do something to produce your own liberation, right? Else it's not liberation, it's just another form of slavery. So each and every single member has to pay a membership fee. That membership fee is crowdsourcing. That is what has gotten us to where we are today. Every single business that we've opened, it's cost money to open that business. It's required transportation and logistics in order to be able to get there. Every tool, every product, every brick, every single thing that we have done has been done based on this model, okay? Do you need dual citizenship to be active on the African property? Absolutely not. In fact, and this is the logic of the Ledge Group, being active will get you whatever you want. See, our members, and so we'll speak to the benefits of being a member, right? Our members have the opportunity, anything that you want to do, anything that you do, right? We can do it over there. Just like I opened and said, we can open a hospital. I couldn't do that in America. I couldn't open a hospital in America, no matter how much money I had. I couldn't open an airport because they run in that, right? I couldn't do that. I could open an airport in Africa. So guess what? If one of you wants to open up an airport, yo, we got the people that we can connect you with. We have the contacts to allow you to be able to open that airport. And we'll put you in touch with them. We'll open up a business in your name and in that contact's name, and y'all go ahead and open up that airport. You're going to use the entire group so that you're never walking alone anywhere. You're going to use the entire group, our reputation, what we have done to be able to oversee and ensure that everything goes right. But you're going to open up that airport, and you and the contact in that country will be the owners of that airport in perpetuity. So when you pass on, your babies own that airport. And when they pass, their babies own that airport. And we keep it moving. Now, the fact that you are now partnered with someone in that country, with a citizen in that country, puts you 10 steps above anyone else on the planet Earth, because your name is listed in that country as an investor. They can see you. They see your work. They see your reputation. They see that you're producing a benefit to them. Now you got what you get. So I suggest that what has been happening is the wrong way to go into Africa. The majority of potential repatriates, what they do is they amass their money, they get their Social Security, and then they go into Africa and they recognize that this visa is in place, and every 90 days they need to reapply for their visa. And so they go into Africa and they sit there and they try to deal with it from there. That's just not the way to do this intelligently. That is not the way to do this intelligently. It makes more sense. First and foremost, let's talk it through. First and foremost, every one of your family and everybody that you know is not going to go to Africa, just period. And guess what? Marcus Garvey knew that. Marcus Garvey said everybody is not going to Africa. And guess what? That's okay. But at the end of the day, how about those people that are staying behind? We produce a relationship with somebody that has diamonds in Angola, and we get those diamonds into the hands of your people that are standing back here, and we split the profits 50-50. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that, right? So those don't have to go to Africa, but it makes sense to first produce relationships on the ground in Africa, create those business models, have an impact, produce reputation. Then anything that you want to do on the ground there, you can do. Let me tell you something. I don't have to worry about security in Africa. Can you now think about that? The safest place on the planet Earth for any ledge group member is in Africa. I don't have to worry about security. You know why? Because I'm partnered with the people. So that business that we opened, they have a vested interest in its success. Ain't nobody. See, if I was to go over there and open up a business, I'm a foreigner. No, don't nobody know me. I'm going to be all on my own, and they're going to be picking at me. See what I'm saying? They're going to be stealing from me. They're going to be trying to get me, right? It's going to cost me 3 times the amount to do anything. If I go to buy a bottle of water, they're going to see me as an American, and they're going to charge me more. But guess what? That's not going to be the case for any ledge member. You know why? Because you already know we entrenched with the community, man. Half of them dudes that are running everything out here, they already down with us, man. So we don't have to worry about those things. I don't have to worry about security. I don't have to worry about being gouged. It's an intelligent way to go in there. Does that make sense, Amelia? It's the intelligent way to go in there. Okay. Is there land that you can own? Sister, we buy land. My land in Zambia is $166 an acre. Owned. That's it. Mineral rights down to the center of the earth and to the moon. Mineral rights, $166 an acre. In Zambia, Zambia is $166 an acre. In Tanzania, we have land at $250 an acre, right? And so, again, what happens is that in each and every single place, there's going to be different opportunities. There's going to be different costs and price structures. Like, so in Ghana, for example, that's a really good example. In Zambia, we buy hectares, right? In Zambia, we're buying hectares, okay? We break it down to the acreage because that's where we're from, right? And the acre costs $166 an acre. When we buy land in Tanzania, it's sold in acres, right? It's sold in acres, not hectares. When you buy land in Ghana, it's sold in lots. And so a lot is a quarter acre, 1/4 of an acre, right? And it's very expensive to buy in Ghana. But each and every single country that you go to, it's different, right? And there will be different opportunity, different costs, different models, different structures. What we do is we maintain a standard means of doing business, right? There's a standard means of doing business, and that is parity. Everywhere we go, the prerequisite is 50%. If we open up a business, so one of the members owns the safari resort in Tanzania. Awesome. His name is on that resort with the executive director, and both of them will flourish and split profits and pain and whatever it is in perpetuity. The prerequisite from the ledge group is 50% stays in that country, period. As long as, I don't care what it is. If we produce and we are actively doing it. Again, Jamar is on his way. He's been dispatched to Angola, and we're going to speak with owners of diamond mines, and we're going to speak with owners of resource mines. And again, if we can produce a relationship where we can export those resources and put them specifically in the hands of the brothers and the sisters in the diaspora, then that's what we're going to do. But guess what? Unlike the colonizer, without exception, 50% stays with the people, no matter what. That is my prerequisite. Brother Eric, I see you raising your hand, fam. What's good, man? You have a question? Your phone is muted. Oh, you just waving? Peace and prosperity, family. Yes, sir. All right. I see another question. Does Ledge Group manage business interests of investors in business to ensure African partners are up and up? What we have to do, Sean, there is no shortcut. And I spoke about this earlier. There is no shortcut. When the people that are the poor, tired, huddled masses that came to America came here, there was no safety net. There was no guarantee that they would succeed. There was no guarantee they would even survive the trip from their lands to America, and yet they came. When they started to build airports and when they started to build out this land, there was no guarantee of success. In fact, in Jamestown in the 1600s, they cannibalized their children, right? So there was no safety net, but they had to persevere. And so what I say that to say, there is no safety net. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every time we step up to the plate, we're going to hit a home run. I can promise you we will not. I can say that without any ambiguity. We will not. We're going to run into challenges in every single thing that we do. We're going to run into natural challenges, man. But guess what? If you was to repatriate, and I don't care where you go, if you was to repatriate to Barbados, you're going to run into very specific challenges. And anybody that went there is going to have the same challenges. What are you going to do for your water? What are you going to do for your power? How are you going to manage your sanitation? How are you going to? And so you hear me speak about the essentials every day because the essentials are what you're going to face, right? When you do not have a safety net, the essentials clearly become the value system of the day. I need water. I need food. I need shelter. I need heat, right? So the essentials are the absolute key, and that is true anywhere that you go in the world. So back to your question. How do we ensure that our African partners are up and up? We use a series of tests, and this happens across the board in a standard manner. I'm going to engage, and I'm going to swing it back. The failure of Marcus Garvey's movement was that he assumed, and he didn't have any option. He assumed that the people that he employed to inspect the ships, to certify those ships and validate that those ships were going to be able to do the job that he wanted them to do, he assumed they had the expertise and the ability to do that. He didn't have any way of vetting them. He had no way of certifying that himself. He wasn't skilled in that area. So he had to trust that that man could do what that man said he could do. And in the end, that man couldn't do it. He couldn't do what he said he was going to do. So he bought ships that could not ever make it to Africa. They didn't have the range necessary. They were not in a condition where they would be usable. And as a result, Marcus Garvey never made it to Africa, and none of his boats ever made it to Africa. This is not a failure on his part. It was a failure to vet. It was a failure in process that says we need to pre-qualify absolutely every single individual. You can say that you, this is the one thing that I love about Africa. See, you can go into Africa, right? And you can go bump your gums as much as you want to any people anywhere. At the end of the day, you know what the Africans say? Show me, man. Shut up. I don't want to hear you talk. Don't sell all of that. I don't need to be sold. Show me. If you can do it, do it. And then we'll duplicate it. This is Africans, right? Like to a T. So, I say that to say what we have to do is we have to produce processes whereby we can pre-qualify, then we can qualify, and we can vet. And then after we've done all of those things, we test. Trust but verify, we test. And so one of the first things that I do is we're going to open up a business. First, you're going to tell me what you can do. What do you want to do, Sean? So you're in media. Okay, excellent. We've got production companies at work. We've got people that do many different things. We've got access to build venues. We're building one on the Safari Resort. We've got access to do all of those different things. We can open up our own movie studios. We can do everything, right? Okay, so you tell me that that's what you want to do. Fine. Then we're going to, in any area where it's most advantageous or where you choose, we're going to find a contact. Thankfully, we've been in Africa enough that North, South, East, West, and Central Africa, we've got the contacts, no matter what you want to do, right? So we're going to find that contact. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say to that man, okay, how much is it going to cost for us to open this business? This is what our plan is on the short and the long term. Here's what we're going to do. How much is it going to cost for me to open up that business? And that person is going to say, I'm going to go do some research and come back. Now understand, before I ask a question, I know the answer already. I already know the answer, right? So this is a test. I'm looking to see that this person is going to come and report to me accurately what the cost is. Now, they'll report that accurately. Excellent. From membership fees, I send that man the money, we open up that business. That business is going to have you, Sean, as the executive director, and it's going to have that contact listed as the executive director. Now you are an investor in Africa, okay? From that country's perspective, now you are a known investor in Africa. Okay, so he's opened up the business. We sent him $100, $150 to open up the business. Excellent. Now, before we opened up that business, we identified what are the things that we were going to need. What are the expenditures? What are the costs? What's the time to completion of the project, and like where are we going with it, right? Okay. So the next thing we do, we start to knock out those things. What are the needs that we have? We need a facility. Awesome. What's the cost of the facility? Okay. What are the terms on that facility? Awesome. We send them the money. Do they complete what they said they could do in the time that they said they could do it? Did it cost 1 penny over what they said? Right? And these are the metrics that allow us to determine where we can work with other people. And this is how you produce relationships. So with a long-handled spoon, you vet and you vet and you continue to vet. And this is how you produce the partners throughout the continent with which you can do anything. I'm confident in saying at this point, I've sent over $1 million into Africa, and I can account for every single penny. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question, Sean? Brother Mambu, peace, family. I got our executive director heading over into Angola on the 21st of this month. Yeah, man. So engage me. Let me know where you are, Luanda. We're gonna do some. We'll have some conversation. We'll see whether or not we can get our executive director to embrace you, brother. It's good to see you. Know that your brothers and sisters in the diaspora love you, and we've got a plan where we can work together. Okay. I explained earlier, and I think you might have just learned the logic and the model that makes the most sense is that we in the diaspora, whether we're in the UK or in the US, we sit in economies that are really strong. Right? The dollar here is very, very strong. So we have capital, but we have no resource. And you in Angola, you have resource, but you have no capital. And there has been a vested interest in keeping us from connecting, because if we were to ever connect, there is the potential that we shut off the faucet of resources to the exploiter and divert that directly to the African in the diaspora. So the goal, the intent, the model that the Ledge Group uses, Brother Mambu, is we will open any business with you. We will invest in your dream. There will be checks and balances, brother. I'm not giving out nothing. This ain't charity. There will be checks and balances, and you will work. But in the end, anything that we build together, you will keep 50%, and your children and your children's children and their children's children will always have that business. And you will be partnered with one of our people in the diaspora, and their name will be in tandem with yours, and their children and their children's children's children will benefit from what it is that we produce. So I suggest that we sit down at the table, and we don't let our emotions get in the way of what we have to do. We sit down at the table, and as long as we recognize that every plate must have food, then we can produce a model that will allow us to lift every boat with the tide. And so we are able to lift our people in Angola. We're able to lift our people in Zambia. We're able to lift them in Tanzania. We can lift them in South Africa, and we can lift them here as well. If we can divert those diamonds from the De Beers and put them into the hands of the diaspora and give them ultimate control of those in UK, in the US, in the Netherlands, in Israel, and make us the primary vendors of any resource. I don't care what it is, chocolate. I don't care what it is. We shut off the faucet of resource to the others, and we control the total supply. I don't need to be a master. All I need to do is master the resources that they are most dependent upon. So if I control the coffee, I got them. If I control the sugar, I got them. So it is a means of looking at the world where we are, looking at the world and how it has gotten here, and using intelligence. Again, let's define that. That's not a man who is smart. No. That is intelligence. That is the information. Knowing how they built, what they built, how the weak points. That's what's important. It has been useless for us up until now, seeing and knowing the inner workings of the exploiter and the colonizer, knowing the tools, right? The religion and all knowing the tools that they have used. It has been heretofore useless to us. But if we use intelligence, if we define intelligence correctly, and we use the intelligence to highlight the weaknesses in their model. What is the weakness? The first weakness is they're not fair. So the De Beers are exploiting my brothers in Angola for their diamonds, and they're giving them nothing. Angola isn't able to build their infrastructure on what they're making on that. So the De Beers are making fantastic deals for a colonizer, but the people are not being enriched based on their own resource. So that's the weak point. So all I've got to do is go tell my brother there, yo, let's ensure that you get paid, bruh. Let's make sure that your resource benefits you. First and foremost, off the top, you get yours, right? 50% of anything, okay? You do that, I'm telling you, I don't care where you go. I don't care what the resource is. I don't care who the people are. They have been exploited for hundreds and thousands of years. You go in with parity. You go in with parity, and I promise you, you walk out with capacity. You see? Yes. So I saw my sister ask a question I didn't get to. She asked, is the ability to join the Ledge group ending next month? No. I have extended that in perpetuity. There is no cutoff. You will always be able to join the Ledge. You know what? I say that. I say you will always be able to join the Ledge group. And then next month, somebody is going to really, I mean, yeah, look, I am human. Don't ever get the idea that there is a leader to this, ever. Don't ever look at me as the leader. That is a mistake. First of all, in any engagement, the very first thing that you do is you take the leader, and then you take the next in the chain of command, which leaves battalions without direction. So in any engagement, the first thing you do is you take the leadership, which causes the entire army to falter. How have we seen this in practical application? We saw when Marcus Garvey passed, the movement failed. We saw when Malcolm X passed, the movement failed. This is because the model was like the tip of a spear. And if you break the tip, then the integrity of the weapon should falter. So we should not build in a manner where there is a central figure. There should be no leader. We should build not like the tip of a spear, but like the surface of a hammer, where there are many parts to it, right? Where it is not possible for you to take one and infect the integrity of the entire machine, so that if somebody steps up and says, who the hell is that Ledge group and who did that? Then 10,000 people should stand up and say, we are. We are. That's right. Locked arms. In the Ledge group, in the Ledge groups, what do you call it? It's the articles is Ubuntu. I am because we are. So there is no leader. Don't ever consider me a leader. I make mistakes. I'm fallible. There is no leader. We need to get away from those models which highlighted a central figure. Whereas, and again, what this did was it created a expiration date on those movements, because all that had to happen was you had to eliminate the leader and the entire weapon would falter. Okay, so no leader. Everyone is a leader. You are supposed to come in. You are supposed to identify what is the business model that you want to run. Akon said it so very clearly and so very well. Anything that you want to do, you can do it. I can build a hospital there. I can build an airport here, over there. Why would I stay in a place where I can't? Where somebody else owns the capacity, where they place the limits on what I can do in this place. Why wouldn't I? And again, as I say, I understand it takes a lot of courage to operate without a safety net. I know that is true. But what is our option? What is our option? So again, I say what we use is intelligence. We recognize the way that this has been built, the way that it has operated, identify the gaps and the weak points, produce a model that has the capacity to exploit those, and you put in place solutions to solve your problems, right? So again, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling Africa. You don't want to go to Africa? Awesome. Where do you live? Awesome. Let's get some coffee in your hands. Let's some gold in your hands. Let's get some diamonds in your hands. Let's get resource in your hands from Central America, from South America, from Australia, from Africa. Let's do that. Let's give you a fighting chance rather than you sitting there waiting for crumbs at somebody else's table that may or may not come, right? And this is the logic. It is to ensure that you do not walk alone anywhere, ever. Again, there's so much, and my time is short. I work a full-time job, right? None of the leadership has ever made a dime. I don't make money from the Ledge. The Ledge Group doesn't make money at all. I'm the CEO and the founder. I've never made a single penny from the Ledge Group. My COO has never made a penny. The CIO has never made a penny. It's not what you are used to. Right? It's not what you're used to. The people are not supporting me. When you join the Ledge Group, your membership fee doesn't go to anybody's table. That immediately goes out of America. Out. What we do is we ensure that white supremacy will never touch that penny again. If that penny gets spent here, if that membership fee comes here, white supremacy will never touch that. They will never see that damn penny again. And what we're going to do is we're going to build that airport, and we're going to build the water filtration and bottling facility, and we're going to build safari resorts, and we're going to build all of these things that we need and that we want, right? So, wow, I was on a point and I kind of went too far, but
peace, Brother Peter Brown. Can you hear me? How you doing, sir?
I'm good, family. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well. Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask me to provide further insight on what it's like for someone who's partnered with an African on the continent and is working to build up a company there to provide additional insight to the membership here?
You might scare him away with that. Look, man, I'm telling you, we flying without a safety net. There ain't no rules. We're producing this as we go along. And so you're going to bump into challenges. You're going to have, man, look, let me tell you something. And I think that was the point. I ain't slept in 10 years, man. Like my sleeping schedule, forget it. Like I am completely on a 24-hour schedule where I will sleep for 1 hour exactly, because that's the only break that I have in between meetings. So what my brother just offered, and that's a great segue because I've got to take a quick little bio break, is Brother Naga is the executive director for a work product in Sierra Leone. And we have partnered him with an executive director there, and they are building out the business that they choose. And they are expanding in ways, please, brother, I'm gonna take a quick pause. You can speak to the people and let them know kind of what it is that we do and how we do. And again, don't sugarcoat it. It ain't pretty. Brother Armand, peace. Again, more soldiers that are putting that work in here. So again, please, Naga, speak to that.
Okay. Peace, family. I go by Naga Netter. I am a member of Ledge Innovation Sierra Leone, which is so far, I believe, the latest Ledge affiliate organization there on the continent. I actually serve in the capacity as the executive administrator. We have an executive director, a co-executive director, and I'm serving as the executive administrator, which is basically a decorated secretary, essentially. But what happened was Brother Peter Brown was getting offers from citizens all over the continent in various African countries. People were hitting him up from Ethiopia, people were hitting him up from Zimbabwe, people were hitting him up from Sierra Leone, and he was already involved in multiple countries at the same time, and there are only so many hours in the day. And so he said, let me see who I can tap and appoint and assign to certain positions and see if they will be interested in developing these relationships and fleshing out the businesses there. And so he received a contact from a brother in Sierra Leone, and he said, Brother Naga, are you interested in this? And I told him initially that I had no experience in building a business like that, especially one overseas. I had no knowledge about the nation of Sierra Leone, and I was not very keen on it initially, but Brother Peter Brown had been very instrumental at a key point in my life. So I said, I'm not going to deny him this. And so I went and looked, and I met with Brother Suleiman, who is now the executive director of Ledge Innovation Sierra Leone. And we began with, I first did a kind of a character check, a character assessment to determine if he could be a trustworthy individual, kind of speaking to the process that Brother Peter Brown outlined earlier. And I first sent him a small amount of money just to determine that I could actually get money into the nation. Then I set a small goal: let us work on an agricultural project, and I will send you money to purchase a piece of equipment, and I will see if you do what you say you're going to do. I will see if you have the capacity in which you claim, and I will see if this project yields the results that you say it will. And when all of that panned out, then I said, okay, now we're in a position to expand a little bit further. And so then we added a new project, and we went into food processing. And then we added a new project, and then we went into transportation. And at this point, we are at a really crucial point with our operations there in Sierra Leone, and we're poised to break out into at least 3 or 4 major areas. Some of them I can speak to right now. I haven't even shared them with Brother Peter Brown yet, so I don't want to speak to them publicly until I've properly notified him and informed him of what's going on. But right now, what we have a transportation company that's already up and running. We own a fleet of several vehicles, and we're about to double that in size in just a few weeks. And that is something that I learned very early on from watching Brother Peter Brown's endeavors in various African countries, is that the instinct is, because of the nature of the work that we're doing, we want to go into agriculture or things that deal with land, because we're trying to get access to the raw materials needed that are kind of keeping us captive and in bondage here, which is control over the essentials: food, clothing, shelter, water, etc. So the natural inclination was to gravitate towards agriculture. But I learned very early from watching Brother Peter Brown's works in other countries that agriculture is not something that, it may not, depending on the country, it may not necessarily be the thing that you want to jump right into initially. Because if you do not have the logistics in place, if you do not have the irrigation in place, if you cannot provide factors to control incidents such as flooding, etc., or if you do not have the control over the endpoint of your product, your produce, namely a marketplace or some kind of retail store, then you will basically be at the mercy of all of those individuals who may or may not have your best interest at heart. Therefore, it behooves us to first get a truck, get a store, get the water going, and all of these things in place. And once you have the infrastructure necessary, then you move into agriculture. And so I realized that I did not want to start with agriculture first. So we went into transportation. That's a cash in hand business. That means that I don't have to, worry about waiting 3 months for a crop to mature and for harvest and all this kind of yield and selling it to a marketplace. As soon as we generate a ride, we get money, and it comes back to the office, and it gets split amongst myself, the executive director, co-executive director, and a percentage of that goes towards to the Ledge Group LLC. And we've been doing this successfully since really about November of 2020, and we have not had a loss yet. This has been a really, so far, fingers crossed it continues as this, but it's been a really stunning development. And as I said, we're about to double the number of vehicles that we have access to. So it's been really, really amazing. But the intent is to put in place the resources that will generate capital and revenue, so we can expand into some of the more crucial areas, such as agriculture, such as water filtration and bottling and so forth, and to do it in a way where they're being funded by the entrepreneurial endeavors we already have in place. So we do not have to worry about asking for money or raising money from a month's membership. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the goal is to produce an economic vehicle that will fund anything that we want to do. And so that's basically what I've been focused on. Most recently, if some of you have seen some of the posts in the Grand Rising group, the community of Allentown, which is a section in Freetown, has seen some of the works that we were doing, and they were so impressed that they approached Brother Suleiman, the executive director, and said, we would like to give you this building free of charge if you will establish a hospital or a clinic and provide healthcare services to the local community. And this is in an area where there previously was no other healthcare facility. And we don't know if it's going to manifest as a hospital yet or as a clinic, as a health clinic. That will depend on the type of registration that we go to. We're looking into that, but it's definitely going to be one of those two. We'll know that very shortly. And Brother Suleiman, he did all of the legwork and all the investigation and said, here's exactly what we'll need and here's the cost. And I was just like, okay, well, how can we come up with the resources for that? I'll come up with the plan and I'll present it to the Ledge Group members and maybe we can start fundraising. And Brother Peter Brown was just like, okay, we're moving forward. So,
well, and you know why, right? It's obvious, right? Because so at the end of the day, somebody said to me the other day, does my membership fee give me shares in the Ledge Group LLC? And I had to say to him, bruh, you don't want shares in the Ledge Group LLC because we're never going to be profitable, ever. I'm not giving anything to white folk. We're never, the goal is never to produce profit here, right? And give them more. So no. And so when you showed me that building, bruh, that's what, I'm not looking to make money. I'm looking to make an impact. I'm looking to ensure that 1,000 generations from now, our seeds are not doing the same thing we are, right? That they're a little bit further ahead, like those that came before us. They sacrificed and they did what they had to do to push us forward. And we've lost that. Our Oprah Winfrey's and our celebrities are showing us that the best thing that we can do is get the bag and be comfortable right now, right? And forget the future, forget working to push the future forward. And that's just not acceptable. This is the disposition of our journalists, our politicians, our celebrities, our leaders. In every single movement, you look and you ask yourself, at any point at the end of their plan, do the words "and then we will be free" exist? And if in no part of their plan, if at no part of their plan does it culminate and then we will no longer be dependent upon anyone else, then their plan is to enslave you. Do you hear me? And there is no ambiguity to that. Marcus Garvey said, any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. So if their assumption is that white people are supreme and we can count on their system in perpetuity and thrive under hatred or under white supremacy, I tell you, that's a mistake. So when the brother turned to me and said to me, a hospital? Wait a minute. You hear me and you hear me speak food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, and utilities. These are the essential needs, and it speaks to the hierarchy of needs that we as a people have. Further, it transcends species because a pig needs water. It needs food. It needs shelter. It needs to be able to heal from anything that it might encounter. So these things that I speak to transcend species. It's not, I don't care what you think, it remains the truth. If you don't have water, you're dead. So when the brother said healthcare, right? When the brother said a hospital, wait a minute. So I have to, it's my job, and this is our job. This is our job. Our job is to take and look at every single project, everything, every idea, and use the cumulative knowledge and experience of all of us to fine tune it, to make it waterproof. And then, let me tell you something, when we talk about scientific theory, science doesn't ever get to 100% and say, yes, we're going to do it. No, science gets to 80%, 80% sure, and says, okay, we're going to take this educated leap and assume that this will work. And then they put it through clinical trials, and then they come to a conclusion and say 90% efficacy, right? This is how science works. So that said, we don't know. We're going to use the cumulative knowledge and experience of every of the sum total of our parts, and we will fine tune. So Sean Granberry asked about investors, and I know my brothers in media, we're going to fine tune that. We're going to, if you present a model, or if somebody on the continent presents a model, we're going to fine tune that model. We're going to ask questions. So when Naga came to me with the hospital, I hit him like it's automatic. It comes from the top of the dome. What's the profit model? What do other clinics or hospitals in the area look like? What is their cost to operate on a monthly basis? What are the cost of water? What are the cost of sanitation? What are the cost of electricity? What are the operating cost? What does it cost for the doctors and the supplies? How much are they going through, right? What are they making? All of those questions. Again, at the end of the day, I had to hide because I didn't give a damn what the answer was. It's a hospital. We're going to build that. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? I just said those things, but I didn't care. It's the same way that we did the maternity ward. When they turned and said to me, yo, we need some help with this maternity ward, I said, yes. Now, when I said yes, there wasn't the slightest little foggiest idea in my mind how I was going to do that. I ain't never built no maternity ward in America. Well, actually, I have, but it wasn't mine, right? And so I had no plan. I had no idea. So I had to push back that kind of SWOT analysis. What's the who, the where, the why, the how, all of those questions, all of the pertinent questions that I could think of. And then when those answers come, there should be 100 more questions, right? This is how we fine tune and mold a thing and use our cumulative knowledge in order to be able to make a more perfect union, huh? And so it is through that process. Yeah, you got that, didn't you, Armand? So it is through that process that we can deploy projects with some level of certainty. I'm gonna still say there is no safety net. We're operating in areas where it has never happened before. This is the place that Malcolm was pointing to. He was saying, do this. Geronimo Platt opened up an ambulance service in Tanzania. This is the place where Panthers were pushing, where Malcolm was pushing, where Marcus Elijah Muhammad was pushing to buying land in Ghana, getting out of America. So this isn't new. All this is actioning, placing a formula behind the direction of those leaders and those teachers, and finding a way to make that come true. Malcolm is waiting, right? Malcolm is waiting for the completion of his teachings. Marcus is waiting for the completion of his teachings. I just feel it's our responsibility to push that forward, man, you know?
I'd also like to add that what, to double up on what Brother Peter Brown is saying, nothing that I've done in Sierra Leone could have been possible without the Ledge. And when I first reached out to Brother Suleiman, the executive director, I was trying to figure out exactly how we were going to make it work. And to give you an idea of kind of what it is that the Ledge provides, it's really about human resources, really. It's about connections and kind of offsetting and mitigating some of the challenges that you would go into, that you would experience otherwise. If I tried to do this without the kind of machine and infrastructure in place that the Ledge Group has built, I would have wasted thousands of dollars and just spent my time spinning my wheels, basically. If I reached out to someone that I didn't know, just met someone on Facebook and said, hey, let's try and do something, I send them money, like it's a chance that it could happen, but there's also a much higher chance that they would probably just take the money and just run off and I would never hear from them again. But with the system and the infrastructure in place, I was able to go through a series of tests, vet the individual, grow, and let's try a test on this scale, let's try a test on the next scale, and with each success, you keep expanding and growing. And to give you an idea of kind of what the benefits of the human resources, I read articles on current events in Sierra Leone just so I can stay up to date on what's going on in the country in which I'm operating. I read an article the other day that said, this was just last week, it says that police in Freetown, Sierra Leone have impounded hundreds of Okadas, which is their name for motorcycle taxi. The police in Freetown, Sierra Leone have impounded hundreds of Okadas, and the people are at the police department rioting, tearing up stuff, saying, give us back our motorcycle taxis. And I call up Brother Suleiman, I was like, Brother Suleiman, like, hey, do we need to be concerned about this? Like, people are like, they're accusing the police of extortion and that this is a form of like blackmail or whatever. And he was just like, nah, bro, like, those people don't have registrations, they don't have license, like they're all operating under the table. Like, we took care of that from day one. Like, because I told you the steps to go through, we have our license, and so the police don't mess with us. We don't have to worry about that. In fact, here's what we're gonna do. After we get a few more vehicles, we're gonna reach out to all of those other unlicensed Okada motorcycle taxi drivers and say, y'all are operating illegally. Why don't y'all come and operate under our banner, and you'll just send a percentage to Brother Suleiman or whatever. So and I would have not have known that, but say for me to have been partnered with Brother Suleiman, he and his team are in place. They have feelers all over the ground. And so that saves me a level of not having to start from zero, because without having that kind of knowledge, I would be trying to like stumbling into stuff in the dark, trying to figure out how to make it work, losing money, wasting time. But because I had this ability to partner with someone and test them, then they can go around and do some of the groundwork on their side, and I can do, that frees me up to focus more on some of my executive administrator duties. This is something that would not have been possible if I didn't have Brother Suleiman and his team there on the ground, and if I didn't have the Ledge Group here on this side, and both entities working in tandem. It's the only way that this could have been possible. It would have been completely unfathomable without this machine that has been built up for. So I would definitely encourage any of you who are interested to definitely take advantage of this. And really understand what it is and how to use it, because a lot of people, even people who are current Ledge members, do not really understand the full potential of what it is that has been built and made available before them.
They really don't. And you really make, I mean, excellent points, because it speaks to the only real way for us to do this, to be able to create partnerships with Africa. Let me tell you something. The last thing that you want to do is go into Africa like you Jan Michael Vincent and you know all their problems. Like all of Africa was waiting for wonderful you to come in with your super ideas to solve their problems. It's not like that. If you do that, yeah, you're going to be out of there fast, right? They will take that as an offense, and rightly so. We've been here for 1,000,000 damn years waiting for your nappy head to come solve our problem. No, it's not like that. The only way to effectively do that is through a mutual respect. I respect the fact that you're on the ground, and I've put you through a series of tests to be able to trust that when you report to me a thing, that thing is true. I've got multiple resources so that I can validate that, right? It's that best effort. And so with that being said, my trusting that what they are saying as it relates to the direction is the way to go, I'm going to lend to them the intelligence relative to the models that I've seen here in America that succeeded and failed. And through the back and forth of using what each of us has, we have ground eye visibility, and we can open and do anything, man, anything. Like in Zambia, again, we own tow trucks. We own tow trucks in a place with a population of 1 million people where there has never been a tow truck before. when our tow truck was just coming into Lusaka. Wait, no, we were coming from Lusaka, coming into I forget the name. What you know it. What is it? Solwezi. When we got to Solwezi, they didn't even get the tow truck to where it was going to be parked before the police officers saw them, stopped them, and said, yo, keep your phone number on, man. Give me your number, keep your phone on. And the ambulatory services and everyone, there had never been a tow truck there. You couldn't do that. You don't luck up on that. You don't simply go into Africa and open up a business and it works. You can't do it. You need ground access. Furthermore, and I'm gonna tell you straight like this, there were people, and there are still people to this day. Yo, a brother the other day said this is a scam. Wait a minute. And I never, when somebody says to me it's a scam, I don't even, like, the conversation is over. I'm done. And maybe I should be a little bit more, bruh, I've been doing this too long to even entertain that, man. When somebody says that, I have no time. But they said that early on. And why did they say that? They said that because their contention was, if somebody in Africa tells you that you can buy land over the internet, having never been there and having never met that person, you just got scammed. And guess what? They are 100% correct. If somebody from Nigeria reaches out to you and tells you, yo, I got a business plan, and you send that man money, yo, you'd have just lost your money. I promise you, right? I promise you, you can't, I wouldn't do it. You can't do it. You can't simply say, this is why it has existed for so long. You can't do it. But what we've done is we've built a model with checks and balances that allow us to do exactly that. Furthermore, our executive directors are encouraged to cultivate more executive directors. So what does that mean? I don't just want to partner with this executive director in a given area. I want him to cultivate 5, 6 executive directors in different business models and in different areas, or expansion of the areas that we are. And so what that does is it allows me to partner 5 more members from the Ledge Group with those executive directors, and again, cultivate and build those businesses. At the end of the day, what we are talking about are the foundational elements required to produce economies. These are the things that are needed. And again, you know, I'm gonna tell you, you know who has done the greatest disservice to people in the modern era? History teachers. History teachers have done the greatest disservice, because the history teacher is supposed to be a griot. It's supposed to be a storyteller that captures your attention in the telling. So because we don't have true griots that are teaching history, we've been disconnected and we don't actually physically think it through. But when these people came here, they were dying. They didn't know how to raise the food here. They couldn't stand out in the sun. They could not produce the foods to sustain themselves. So for decades, they were dying when they came to America. And the way that this was overcome was they kept sending more and more and more people, right? They sent the paupers, the peasants, the insane asylums. They emptied those out. The mental institutions, they emptied those, right? And they sent them into America, and they were dying, right? And then the native helped them. And then even after the native helped them, they couldn't catch it. They couldn't do it for themselves. They tried to enslave the native. The native lived here. The native waged war on them. They couldn't win that. Import Africans into America to do the agriculture. Awesome. Now you've stabilized food. But please understand, they began with dirt roads, cow paths. I live in Boston. Close is a city called Cambridge. And you can see the old cobblestone, because these were cow paths, right? And horses. And so I say these things to say that Rome wasn't built in a day, and to despise not the day of humble beginnings. So yes, you're going to go to a place where the streets aren't there. Where ain't no street lights, man. Look, there ain't no street lights. And guess what else? Ain't no park ranger. And there's animals, right? You're going to see things, and you're going to experience life in a way that you never even imagined existed. But it is such a freedom. It is such a more natural way of living. And it really requires your being there to truly appreciate that. But so I have what I would like to describe as a pioneer spirit, see? And if I were to take my green screen down on my TV, you would see black and white Westerns. You know why? And I really didn't understand why. I thought it was just nostalgic, right? Because my grandparents, my parents, they used to watch the Westerns, right? And so I just thought it was nostalgic, but nah, it's not. One of the things that I like the most about the Westerns is is that you're looking at a view before it was built, and you see the boardwalks, and you see like the very simple, humble beginnings. And it was cool, man. It was cool. So I like kind of the way that looks, but from a more advanced perspective, right? You have to remember the pyramids, when they were constructed, there is a chamber, the primary king's chamber in the Great Pyramid has a view that sees Sirius all times of the year. It is such a specific view that sees Sirius at all times of the year. And the pyramids are built in the planetary alignment. The reason that that is fantastic is because every single block had to be leveled, shaped, and created before it was put together, before it was assembled as a pyramid. Do you understand the meticulous nature of the work that had to be done in order to produce light in the deepest recesses of the Great Pyramid, which means pinhole slivers through solid rock, hitting prisms, which are then corresponding with other prisms and moving light throughout the entire structure. Do you understand? So our woke talk about the pyramids. The pyramids are great. The Egyptians were great. You don't even know why they were great, right? You don't even consider why they were great. They were great because this was a body of work that they determined to produce that would last for millions of years. They didn't work to get the bag. They didn't work to get comfortable right now. They put a work product in to last millions of years. It took 20 years to complete, and there was not 1 minute from the moment that they started the project until its completion that there was a work stoppage. Not one, not one. You're talking about an administrative project where sanitation systems had to be in place, right? Not one work stoppage. There needed to be hydration. There needed to be water. There needed to be food. There needed to be transportation for people in and out of the work site for 20 years without a single work stoppage. I'm talking about, this is detail. This is detail, and this is a meticulous planning, the likes of which is missing in the world. And it only exists in one resource, us. So we can look at it on the surface. Wait a minute. Let's take it even a step further. Understand that in its original build, the surface of the pyramid was limestone. Do you know what that means? That means that at nighttime, anywhere that you were, that you could see that pyramid, all you saw was a prism of light. Light. Yo, they built the shit. Like what they built, whoa, it was really, really amazing. And so our woke, they're looking at a thing, they talking about a thing. You see what happens is we're very reactionary. The reason that everybody is so focused on Egypt is because white folks said that it was white folk in Egypt. So everybody said, no, Egypt is ours, and everybody's focused on Egypt. But they have no idea. They've never studied it. They really have no idea about Egypt at all, nor the things that they should be extracting from that experience. How do I relate the pyramids to what it is that we're doing? Because the work that we're doing is not necessarily to produce comfort in one lifetime. That is the difference between this effort and every other effort that you will see anywhere else. The goal is not to enrich the few at the top and then hope for a trickle down so that everybody gets to eat. No, the goal is that we sit down linearly and everybody eats at one time. That's the goal, and that is the difference. And so, again, the true goal is to produce capacity for 1,000 generations into the future. If you are so lucky, you will have offspring, and those offspring will have offspring. And 1,000 generations from now, you will be represented on the planet Earth, and those children will need to eat on Sunday morning. What will they eat? And what can you do right now to ensure that they will have something to eat? So, again, the conditions that we live in were not put in place by Donald Trump or no Barack Obama, right? They weren't put in place by your Barack Obama. They weren't put in place by Ronald Reagan, right? They were put in place by men 400 years ago. The conditions that we live in were put in place by men 400 years ago. They would never live to see the result of the work that they did, and they did the work anyway. That we must multiply. We must add a multiplier to that, and we must have a greater resolve than what they did. This is the Ledge Group. It is a foundation that'll never go anywhere. With brothers like Naga, with brothers like Armand, brothers like Kimani, we got members all through this here, right? Brother Rudolph, I'm waiting to incorporate your knowledge, man, and your experience, Elder. I'm waiting that we can take and pull all of this resource together and do exactly what this was designed to do. And that is build out your dream, not my dream. It ain't none of this about me, man. None of this is about me. Brother Eric, it's about you. What do you want to do? What is the business that if you had the opportunity and you wanted to open it, that you couldn't do here? You know that there is a limit. You know that there is a place and a thing that you can't do. See, when we were children, we had imagination. And we dreamed of things greater than the limits because we didn't know them at that time. What was that? What was that? And if given the opportunity to build that, would you? Would you do it? If we can find the contact where we can reliably do that, vet that, what? And we can all fuel that, huh? And we can invest in that, bruh, say when, say what? Say what and say when. Well, I'm there. You hear me? And that is the logic. 100% of our membership should be business owners in Africa. And the dream come true is that you are a business owner in every country. Let them know your name. Introduce yourself. Let me tell you something. You can't sit back. We can't sit back in America and say, yo, the Chinese treat us real bad, man. Yo, the Japanese, they treat us real bad. The Hawaiians, the Africans, yo, nobody likes us, man. You know why? Because they were introduced to you by your enemy. Your enemy showed them big lips, big hips, big what, right? Your enemy showed them the very worst possible image of you. So how would you expect them to know the best of you, right? How would you expect that? How would you expect the Russian, if they've never been here and never met you, how would you expect them to consider you? So instead of getting angry and emotional, get your butt up and go. Introduce yourself. Let me tell you, you have more integrity. Whoa. Everything that America tells the world she's so great for, right? The unity, the hard work, the love, the pull yourselves up by the bootstrap. None of these things belong to her. None of them. They didn't practice no love over the last 500 years. They didn't practice empathy. They didn't practice unity. They didn't practice all men are created equal. They didn't do that shit, right? What they did consistently, and each of the groups that came in practiced hatred, disconnection, and apathy. Every one of them, Hungarian, Italian, Irish, Eastern European, Portuguese, German, all of them came in and they embraced this bullshit, right? So the attributes that the world, right? Everybody in the world is coming to America, right? Well, you know why? It's not because of the truth. It's not because of the truth of America. It is because of the facade of America. And the facade, the face that they put up is the face of my father. It was my father who maintained integrity in the face of all adversity. It was my father that maintained valor, that maintained honor, that maintained the highest attributes. So the game face that they put out there to the world and tell the world is them, isn't them, in fact, it's us. So then why? Why would I assume that the answer to our problem would come from any other source? They benefit from our not being able to see these things, speak these things, and define these things without ambiguity. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what your bag, your ideology. Every single word that I have said right here applies to every species. Do you know white people? So my words are always public. Everything that I put out is public, right? It's never private. It's all public. Do you know white people share my posts more than black folk? I see more white folk share my posts than black folk. You know why? Because it freaking applies to them too. It's true. If it weren't true, then it couldn't be true for them too. If it is true for us, then it must be true for them too. Anybody that controls your essential needs is your master, and your life, it will be completely monetized, and every second in it will go to serve that master. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, man, woman, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And the solution, the instruments of your oppression will always be your essential needs. Doesn't matter if you're a tiger, doesn't matter if you're a lion, doesn't matter if you're a giraffe, a kangaroo, a serpent, a bird, or a black man in America. It doesn't matter. These are basic common rules that we can all point to as being a fact. So, with clear definition of the instruments of our oppression, with clear definition of what the problem is, it is only through that we can come to a viable solution. That's what we did, man. That's what the Ledge Group did. We put a formula behind the teachings of those behind us. So again, what makes us, when somebody says it's a scam, you know why I know Armand? You know why I know Armand? You know why I know Naga and the majority of the people that are Ledge members? Because one time, because I'm odd, but one time I said, yo, I'm gonna teach everybody how to do this. And these people heard me. These are young folks. See, old folks, y'all broken. But the young folk, they hear it and they say, oh, well, teach me then. And guess what? They showed up. I taught them. They used it. Here we are, right? And so everything that went into producing the Ledge Group was based on my saying, yo, I know this thing. Let me give it to you. Let me give it to you. So what happens is when people say it's a scam, I listen to them and I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, you don't know that I have never made a penny? You don't know that I've spent millions to do this? I've never turned a single penny? And it has given exactly where, like, if it's a scam, I got the whole scam thing wrong. I'm not doing it right. So it is why whenever somebody says it, I don't even, like I said, I don't even pay, I don't play. As soon as they say it to me, it lets me know. See, the problem is this, and I understand that we've been burnt, man. I've donated to everyone and everything, and I will continue to support my own. But unfortunately, what happens is, as time goes on, we see, yeah, it was a scam. This one went for the bag. The bag Isn't that it? It's the glitter every single time that gets them. Every time they get greedy, and look, it's the bag that gets them. That's why you can't want the bag. If you want that bag, yo, trust and believe. If you want that bag so bad, yo, you be seeing that meme that says, if I gave you $1 million, would you smack your brother? And you see hundreds of black folk line up and say, yep, I sure would. He'd get over it. And guess what? You could give me $10 million and I will not strike my brother. No, no, not for sale. I can't, I won't. No, not for sale. You see? And this is the fatal flaw, man. That bag gets them. So I understand, and my people are hurt. They've been scammed. This is why we got a Q&A. The first Saturday of every month, we will have a live Q&A. You can come in, ask anything. Nothing is off base. Ask anything. Ask anything. Outside of something that might provide the ability for someone to identity theft me, man, I'll show you any record. I can show you anything. Anything. It's completely open. What I'm trying to do is make people understand it. Brothers like Naga, yo, yeah, so there's people that have been around me for a long, long, long time, and they get it. And that is truly the goal. Because if I should get hit by a bus, it'll keep going, right? If you pick it up, if you understand how this truly works, if you pick it up, yo, this changes the world. It changes everything. It changes the way business is done. It changes who owns complete control of the resource. Again, if we control the sugar, we control the world. If we control the coffee, yo, the European nations, do you know how much they spend on coffee a year? Yo, bro, that is their drug. If you were to take coffee out of their society for a period, man, you have anything you want. Anything you want. So this is the goal. Control the resource, shut off the resource, create our own economies, and ensure that 1,000 generations from now, our babies wake up with a good breakfast, man. You know, fresh. Go outside and pull oranges off the tree. Go on, you know what I'm saying? Go get you a buffet of fruit right on your property, man. You know, I want it to be free. Are there any other questions? There haven't been many. I see. Well, so you know what happened is I can't actually see anymore. This was the first time that I've ever gone live where I could actually see the video on Facebook. I never tried. I never cared. I never, you know, most of the time I'm just, you know, I'm talking. I'm not asking questions. So this is the first time that I've been able to see it. What I want to do is make sure that I'm not missing any questions from anyone. Because again, the time is for you. Like I said, every Saturday, the first Saturday of every month, we'll do this. I'll have a live Q&A. So any question you have, you got your people that got questions, you got your family saying it's a scam, bring them on in here. Come holler at your boy. We square that out right here. Eye to eye. This. There's some value, isn't there, to being able to look into a man's eyes in order to determine whether or not there's actually the conviction of his words, right? There's some value to that. And so that's why I placed this into a public forum. Y'all come in, man, ask your questions, all right? But if not, I need to get some water. And
hey, Peter, I have a question.
Yes, who's that?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so regarding the hemp initiative, I spoke with Jamar and Tamika a few days ago, and I guess, you know, here in Tanzania, it's just not legal at all. And so I shared like an article that talked about in Malawi how they just awarded, I think, about like 40 companies or so with licenses to grow hemp, but there it's not legal for export. So and then the other countries I believe where it's legal for hemp production is Ghana, Rwanda, Zambia, Malawi, and I think South Africa and Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. So I mean, for me, the hemp initiative is what I'm most excited about. So I'm down to go like wherever we can make that possible, you know, to, you know, work with an executive director in whichever country, you know, we're able to get access to that.
Yes, sir. So, and I'm gonna keep it funky. Every time somebody steps up with an idea to me, I'm gonna say just like this: we got land crazy in Zambia. We got all the land that
Right.
we want. Chalemu is he's royal blood. Chalemu's royal blood. We got land in 9 provinces. I haven't shared everywhere that we got land. We got land everywhere in Zambia.
Oh, wow.
So anytime somebody steps to me, man, I'm gonna push back and challenge you, man. So I say we don't have to wait in Zambia. We've already got construction equipment. We bought Brickmaker. We are in the place where we're building. So go to Zambia. We'll get you in touch. We'll get you housed. Open up a new business, and let's do some hemp. I'll tell you the other thing that I don't know whether or not you caught. But those countries that you're speaking about, so Malawi isn't new. Malawi's been growing. Also, Lesotho, South Africa.
Oh, yeah. I would go to Lesotho too.
Who else? There's been a couple of countries, but all of those products, all of those work products are European. 100% of them are European. Go look at them. Go look at their companies that are out there doing anything. And so there's things, but since we can legally do it in Zambia, and there's another benefit that again is possibly not recognized, but because we partner on the ground, we got access to the governments based on who we partner with. We have access to local government, federal, the state, for lack of a better term. We've got access, so we can get things done. So I suggest to you, full forward, right? I am still working with this sister that is the hemp consultant that builds things with Hempcrete. Again, my problem is we started at 15K and she jumped to 50. Now I understand why she got to 50, because what I asked of her, what I said to her was, she gave me a proposal, but the proposal was a little ambiguous, right? And what it didn't do, all it did was it stated the various things that she was going to do. But what it didn't do was state what was I going to need in order for her to do those things, right? And so what she was basically talking about was building a house. So I'm gonna need the concrete, I'm gonna need all of these other elements. And so I had to push back to her. It was a real difficult back and forth for her to understand what it was that I was asking. And then when she did understand, her perspective was, well, if I give you all this, if I tell you all this, you won't need me anymore, right? So there was a balance in that ask on both sides. But so I understand how she got to the 50. The 50 isn't really, there's a lot of services that she's offering there that I don't need. I've been involved in hemp for 40 years with Normal. I know hemp, right? I've grown hemp. I know what that product is. I know what it can do. So the only thing that I'm lacking is physically doing the process from the fiber to the brick. That's the only thing that I haven't done. This process truly is it's about a week's worth of processing, and that includes the drying of the brick. So I don't need the $50,000, right? I don't need that, right? So it's a challenge trying to get there. That being said, there are lesser applications that we can put into being right now in Zambia. And furthermore, one of the most relevant areas that, when we talk about hemp, one of the most relevant and one of the areas that we have to invest in the most is R&D, baby. It's R&D, because that's research and development, because there's 50,000 products that hemp can produce. I'll be damned if we're going to sit there and make one, right? So the R&D is going to be the place where we have to invest the absolute most to ensure that, again, we're looking at everything, okay? So we can make composites out of hemp and bamboo. So why can't we make 6-foot by 10-foot interlocking street pieces? So again, instead of asphalt, which burns and turns into cyanide when it's heated up, right? Instead of concrete, which sucks the energy of everything and gives nothing back. Why don't we use a composite that's produced with what we have on the ground, right? With what we have, with the hemp, with the bamboo, with the plastics, right? We can chemically break those down potentially, create a composite 6 foot by 10 foot sections and create roads throughout Africa. Why not? Why not? So R&D is very important. So again, I'm long-winded. All the way back to your question, my brother. Yeah, let's go to Zambia and let's make that happen, bro. And
okay.
Bear in mind, Zambia is if you're in Arusha, yo, you could throw a stone to Zambia right now.
Right.
Right? Yeah. And we got people there. Man, we got an MMA gym right over the border. Tanzania also doesn't allow MMA. You know that? Yo, you can train. You didn't know that? Oh, bro. Okay. You can train in Tanzania. Don't spar. You can't fight. You can train, but you can't fight in Tanzania.
Oh, okay.
Right over the border.
I was at a class with Ali. Yeah. And somebody said that he wanted to spar, but I didn't get the reason why. So maybe that's why. Yeah.
Nah, it's not legal. It's not legal. Wow, they're not. But again, these are the things. This is why when we talk about hemp, it's not widespread, because there's an educational element that has to happen at the higher levels. And they have to see direct benefit. As I said, that's the way the African is. The African isn't about some show me. Don't just tell me about it. Nah, you gonna bring fights up in here. I'm not gonna have no fights up in here. We gonna look just like y'all over there. But when they see the direct benefit, right? And I'm telling you, we're ahead of the curve in every move, every single thing that you see us do. Watch 1 year, 2 years, 3 years later, and you see, oh shit, look at what's going on. MMA in Africa is about to, it's about to blow up. And we got a gym. You seen our people, man. You seen our people in Nigeria, yo.
Yeah, that gear is nice.
Yo, bruh.
What was the guy's name that produced the equipment?
Say again.
What was the guy's name that produced the equipment?
We got Hero Sampson and Abel Shivix.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Abel,
okay. Yeah.
Yo, Abel's the one that did the bottle cap kick. Kicked the bottle cap off of the damn water bottle. You seen that?
Yeah. Their choreography is nice. We need to Ledge Films and
yeah. Well, we sent them some multimedia equipment to up their game. Green screens and like that, different kinds of camera equipments and laptops. So we up their game, right? They about to put this thing, man. Now, yo, wait, but see, again, these are the kinds of things that I think, right? You think about, and I know y'all are younger, but when I was young, on Saturday, we would wake up and watch Kung Fu movies, man. And they were, the cheesier the better, man. The way that their lips didn't even work with the audio, man, that was beautiful, man. You know what I'm saying? We loved that shit. And we watched it, man. But wait, okay, so that was a generation ago. And we all kind of share that in this generation, right? Why not make indigenous African martial arts films? And now don't get mad, Hero or Abel, but guess what? They be having the cheesy dialogue too. So I'm like, yo, you know what? I want that, man. I want that. I want full feature martial arts movies, man, with plots, with damsels in distress. Yo, bro. And done by us. Let's change the narrative, man. Let's do and indigenous martial arts. Bro, why not? Why not? Yeah.
Make our own Mortal Kombat.
Yo, bruh. I like that, man. And even, you're going to be able to tell, I've been putting some thought into this. I just want to be, you know how Stan Lee was? Like, I just walk past in every movie, you know what I mean? I just, you know what I'm saying? I got some glasses on. That's some bullshit. And just keep it pushing, you know what I'm saying?
So going into Zambia, I mean, I guess here while I'm here in Tanzania, just to I guess once I get the land survey started and then I gotta go to Ghana and get the rest of my stuff, then I'm down to head over to Zambia next. Do you think I should I mean, because I also do want to purchase land. Do you think, or purchase land there? Do you think that I should do that first, or focus on the research and development part of it? Or
Speak to Chilemo, but my
okay,
guess is, hey, bruh. So where we talk about hemp, we've got a license to grow hemp in Kenya. We've yet to do so, right?
Mm.
Hemp, and really any project. In order to succeed, you really have to work backwards. You have to start with the goal. What is it that I want to make, right? And especially with hemp, once you've defined what you want to make, that determines the kind of seed that you're going to use, the soil quality that you're going to need. It will determine the processing equipment that you're going to need, and everything along the chain. So you start at the goal, and then you work backwards in your project plan. And so because of this, we've not dropped a single seed in the ground in Kenya because we don't have the capital to build out the entire processing facility. But in this case, yo, bruh, drop seeds in the ground, get familiar, learn how to grow the hemp. Even if you ain't gonna do nothing with it, it doesn't matter. It augments the soil, it makes it better. Please, hemp cleans soil. It was used at Chernobyl. Hemp filters water. It was used at Fukushima. Hemp filters air. Yo, bruh, it's everything.
Yeah.
So in this perspective, I say, yo, drop some seeds in the ground, bruh. Grow something. Learn how to grow. It's very easy. It requires no herbicides, no pesticides. You don't have to use any fertilizers. It grows naturally. You grow it with beans. So you intercrop. You grow beans because beans will provide the nitrogen, and the hemp plant will provide the amendment that the bean needs. So they augment each other and they grow very nicely together, right? And you grow those, you intercrop. Yo, bruh, after that, hey, man, Alibaba, straight like this, Alibaba, we can get the charcoal press. We can get the charcoal press. And so that process only requires a decorticator. We can get it, Alibaba got it, a cheap decorticator, which breaks the hurd from the fiber. Once you got the fiber and the hurd separated, at that point, you can put those, you grind them, put them in with, what do you mix it with? What do you mix it with? I forget, I can get you it. And then you press it, and you have the briquettes, small briquettes that burn long instead of wood. Yo.
Is it lime and water?
No, that's for, I don't know if, no, not for the briquettes. Not for the briquettes. Lime and water is what you make bricks.
Okay,
when I say briquettes, I'm talking about home heating fuels, grilling, right? And that's, let me tell you why that's big. Because the next frontier right now, worldwide, is wood, right? The industrialized nations have chopped down all of their wood. It takes 100 years for a tree to grow and mature to be usable. And they've chopped down all their wood, China, everywhere, right? And so wood is the next frontier. China is in Africa right now buying wood like you can't imagine. They're in Nigeria with constant trains of wood going out because Africa is it's going to be the number one resource. You've seen Australia burn, right? You're seeing the places in the world, the Amazon burn, right? So the wood is and a lot of people don't know that, but it takes 100 years for a tree to mature, but it takes 90 days for hemp to mature. So it produces a viable alternative to burning the trees, an eco-friendly alternative to burning the trees. And if we can grow that process, then we can make a dent. We can diminish the dependency and the need to be cutting down these trees. We will necessarily and naturally infect the people around, and they'll start doing it as well. And again, we can make a long-term difference in the way things are done, right? So long answer, but a fully inclusive view of what we can do. So back to your question, would I do it now? I would do it right now. I would drop the seed in the ground. And first and foremost, what you should do, contact Chilemo, let him know that you had a conversation with me as it relates to this. Let's see what we can do.
Word. Okay, yeah, because I already use hemp products like lotion and toothpaste and lotion, toothpaste. Oh yeah, mouthwash. So I would want to start like their like everyday products, soaps, yeah, stuff like that. Because I got those products. Some of them I got when I was in Ghana, but they were imported from the UK. So
right.
it's like,
Now Ghana, you said Ghana has it on the books, and I'm not sure it's on the books. I'm sure that there are efforts there. But I'm not sure it's actually on the books that is legal. I know maybe in the last year, I think there was something where Ghana said that it was legal.
Yeah, they legalized it last year, because when I was there, it was around 420. I think a few days before.
That's right.
And like people were thinking like they was all like at the local pub that I was chilling at. They were talking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, it's finally legal," and all this other stuff. But it was like, nah, like that's hemp. That's without the THC. You
and
can't,
they don't understand. And guess
that
what?
don't work like that. Yeah.
Everybody in the world, see, hemp is a buzzword. Everybody says hemp. Oh, hemp. It's this, it's that. And they don't really know. Again, like I said, I've been in it for 40 years. I'm not guessing at it. I know what it is, right? And so everybody says, oh, we're going to make $1 million in hemp. And the majority of the people go directly where the colonizer has focused their energy, which is the CBDs, 100%. But there's 50,000 products that hemp can produce. CBD is probably the most wasteful way of using the hemp, because you're discarding the herd, you're discarding the fiber. It's the most wasteful from the disposition of cost, but it's the most wasteful ecologically as well. It is not sustainable. This product can make 50,000. Why would you just be extracting that CBD oil and then lying to the people for what it does? They tell people that it'll relieve depression. CBD don't do all that shit, man. It don't do all of that. You know what I'm saying? They got it rubbing it on. Oh, I feel so much better. Man. But there are actual uses for that product, for that hemp, and it can actually solve problems across the planet Earth. The hemp and the bamboo, these are the things that dramatically make differences. If we plant bamboo will produce nutrition and jobs and capacity for 1,000 years in a controlled grow area. Man, look, these are the solutions. We've got solutions. We've got a vehicle. We've got the capacity and the contacts. Bruh, I don't have the audacity to think small. Dare me. I'm gone. Dare me. I want an airport. I'll do a bamboo. You land.
Yeah, I mean, there's some company in Canada created a plane out of hemp fiber and running off of hemp fuel and all of that. They haven't test flown it yet, because I guess they gotta get a license for that. But like they do everything else. But yeah, I mean, the possibilities with it are just endless. Like
if you look on YouTube, and I think if you look up Pan-African. Well, there's probably a lot of them now. I called it Pan-African Hemp Initiative, I think. But I over the years I put out a lot of content, educational content. It's one of the reasons that Lesotho started growing. We pushed so much content throughout the continent of Africa. This is why they actually are where they are. South Africa, there's like 3 million Rastafari. I pushed content, educational content, slide decks, fact sheets, like everything. I pushed educational content into Ghana and all of these different places. And that's what's required, right? In Tanzania, that's what's going to have to happen. But while we're waiting for them to get their act in order, the Europeans are in Malawi growing. They're in Lesotho growing. They're in South Africa growing. They're in all of these different places, and they're already doing it, right? So rather than being behind the 8 ball, bro, you got a desire to do that, I'll make anything, I'll move mountains to help you get that done, bro.
Let's get it.
Yeah, baby. That's what. Are there any questions? I didn't see. I haven't seen anybody ask any questions. Oh, your mama. I see your mama said. My bag. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. This was actually scheduled to go to 2 o'clock. I don't see a lot of Q&A. This will be a monthly event. I'll do a Q&A every month. Anybody that got any questions, come in, Ask your questions. Like I said, I'm gonna do it public, man, and I don't backstep. Ask a question, I'll give you the answer. You know what I'm saying? In fact, what you really want to do is you want to be careful what questions you ask, because I'm gonna give you the answer. So I want to again thank y'all for joining. Every month, first
Peace.
Saturday of every month, I'm gonna be up in here. We do this.
Sounds good, my brother. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you, brother
appreciate it.
Peter.
Yeah, man. Good to see y'all.
Absolutely.
All right.